All right, cool. So you have been kind of putting in work since the Milestone Initiative. We talked. That's the last time you and I talked in 2023.
Mhm.
Like you doing it seems like you're doing so much. How are you feeling about your journey since then?
Every day is a pinch me moment. Like I think every time I get a new gig, I'm like, all right, this is probably gonna be my last thing. I'm gonna swing for the fences, and then like I keep getting another thing. So I don't know. I talk to a lot of people that have been in the game like 30 years, and they have the same mentality. So I don't know if that's ever gonna go away. And
Mhm.
at the same time, I think it's a good pressure to have, um, to not get too complacent. But also, I would like to chill at some point too. But no, it's great. It's a dream job, so I'm really enjoying it.
Nice. When you got added to, you were co-authoring, co-writing it with Jeremy Adams. When I started reading
Yeah.
Green Lantern Corps, the I saw how many people were on the creative team, and it kind of reflected like how massive the core is now and how many like central characters there are. But now that you're
Hmm.
like you're handling that on your own, like how are you going to manage like going from like
Yeah.
a bigger team to like just you managing the main writing?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a tall task. I think in a roundabout way, learned a lot on that Star Trek book I did because that was a 4 issue miniseries, and we had 4 protagonists that we had to juggle. Um, so I think kind of doing that kind of trained me for this book in the sense where like just having a bunch of characters to kind of have to like jump back and forth from. I think what we've really found on Green Lantern Corps that works really well is we do these like A stories and B stories.
Hmm.
Um, Only 20-page book, but like it gives us the opportunity to jump back and forth between groups of characters, so that way everyone kind of gets serviced. Because everyone has their favorite Green Lantern, and everyone wants to see them as much as they possibly can. So I think that's something I'm definitely gonna like keep as I move forward is those A stories and B stories, just to give everyone their shine.
Yeah, I love that because like I love all the focus on the lanterns of color, but especially Joe. She's my favorite. So I am more curious about her and Kelly and like the Teen Lantern, like what I guess what their overall how they fit into this, like because it's always been the guys, the four walls, four legs on a table, whatever. How do you
Yeah,
fit those, like all of the expanded core members, especially all the humans, into a like making sure all their stories still feel balanced and matter?
man, it's tough too because I feel like I get so many like I don't engage, but I get so many like tags and things about like we want to see more of the alien lanterns, and I'm like I'm trying to juggle, 7 or 8 Earth lanterns first, and then yeah, like of course I got my favorite alien lanterns too, but yeah, no, I think that's a valid question. I think what we tried to do so far is balance that a little bit more with some of the newer lanterns, like Kelly, like coming onto this book, I didn't know we were going to be using her as much as we were, and now she's one of my favorite characters. I think it's really compelling that just like a kid was able to hack into the Green Lantern Corps, and they let her stick around. So yeah, I think I can't say too much, but we're going to continue to explore just what exactly everyone's place is and how they're going to affect the larger kind of Green Lantern and all the Corps mythos going forward.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, but I like erased it because I was like, meh. But actually, what
Yeah,
the it feels like the Lantern Corps leadership is so human heavy, and I know why. Like,
yeah, yeah,
meta reason why.
yeah,
Like, is there any like
yeah.
I don't know. How do you address that in universe? Like, why are Earthlings so? Or if you just is it because humans are just naturally cops? Like, is that's a joke.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but I think, oh shoot, I had a point and then I just lost it. I think, oh, the real world reason why there's so many is this: we just need points of references for our audience, and every new lantern that they make is just like we have another unique perspective that we want to explore through the Green Lantern Corps. So you've got your Hals, you've got your Johns, you've got your Joes, and now you have, like I said, you got the kid in there. Um, and so there's so many different ways to look at it. But yeah, to go back to your question, there are so many Earth lanterns. Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's an in-universe reason that already exists, but yeah, it's an interesting question.
Who was your favorite Lantern right overall? I know that you said that Kelly, you grew to love Kelly writing her, but who else? Who's your favorite anyway?
Definitely John Stewart. I grew up with the Justice League animated series, so for the longest, like that was my Green Lantern. I read the comics too, but when I was a kid, my comic book reading was like I would just go to long boxes and pick out the stuff that looked like had cool covers. Like I was not reading like in sequential order or in any continuity, just like whatever looked cool. So like
Mm-hmm.
I just had concepts of things in my mind. So the Green Lantern, or I'm sorry, the Justice League animated series was like the first narrative thing I really paid attention to. So he was my entry point to Green Lantern. And like I said, for a while was my Green Lantern. And as I've gotten older and now that I get to write the character, I see a lot of my dad in him. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of it's my dad's voice when I'm writing the character, so to speak. So my dad was a career Marine for 23 years and now retired. Um, but I think both characters have a lot of the same sensibilities, just in terms of leadership and duty and all that type of stuff. So I think that is, as I've become a writer, what connects me to the character a little bit more than just him looking cool, and looking like me.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, I was going to ask now. Maybe my next question is a little awkward because you compared him to your dad, but I
Yeah.
I was saying the teasing of Shire and John, Joe and John's like vibes, Blackfire's hypersexualization of him calling him a concubine. Whose decision
Yeah.
was it to focus on John's hotness? And I appreciate it because he is hot, and it's time that I'm glad he has a good hairline. I'm glad
Yeah.
he just like looks good, so I appreciate the effort that has gone into him. But yeah,
Yeah. I'd say in general it was both, but that specific thing with Blackfire, that was Jeremy. I got to give him that. Absolutely. But we definitely had a conversation that we wanted to at least acknowledge in continuity that there was some sort of past between him and Shayera. And, some people got angry about it online.
hmm
Um, you know how it is. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not saying that she's not still with Hawkman. We're just saying that like other things have happened at some point. I think that's important, that people have pasts that inform them and stuff. So yeah.
facts. All right, cool. And then the whole situation with his little sister and like being unable to kind of deal with grief, like where do you kind of pull that from, because that's like hard, and I
Oh,
can relate to that because I lost my dad in 2021, so it's just like
oh
every
man.
time I read I'm
So,
like, oh god. But yeah, I
yeah.
feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a valid question because like for me, like my approach to writing is very much I love character work, and getting to just dig into a character and figure out what makes them tick and put them on a journey of self discovery and hopefully fixing that thing that may be wrong with them. And I think the thing that's really cool about comics is you get to kind of pick up where people have left off before you.
hmm
And so like we're definitely like moving the baton forward, but a lot of the stuff that John is dealing with is from Paul. Oh my God, why am I blanking on his name right now? It's because I'm during an interview. PKJ, Philip Kennedy Johnson. Why did I say Paul? Um, Paul's our editor. But a lot of it is we're pulling from Philip Kennedy Johnson's Green Lantern War Journal, where he kind of set a lot of this stuff in motion when he couldn't deal with his mom having, I think it was dementia, and a lot of that I think came from him just not being around. And he was like, I've missed time, and now my mom is like a lot further along than she was when I saw her last. And he just did a thing that I think is very human. It's questionable from a morality standpoint, but it's interesting to deal with. And I think it's important to see our heroes as not like perfect people, because how else are we going to relate to them if they're absolutely perfect? Because we can't be perfect, right? So yeah, this is a very roundabout way of me answering this question. It's very interesting for me to explore him continually dealing with kind of um, the decision that he made to bring his dead sister back, and now his mom is gone, and he's not dealing with it well, but he's kind of just brushing it under the rug. What I will say is like that's going to be a big part of the book moving forward. Even when I take over at 10, like we're still going to be dealing with a lot of that stuff for a minute, just because that type of stuff you don't just get over it one day. You know, it's a process.
Yeah. I was gonna ask. I know you can't speak much on it, but like, what will come after the Starbreaker saga?
Supremacy. Yeah, that's okay.
Saga.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I can say what's in the solicitation, which was more than I thought. It's hard with the solicitations because um, we have to put them out there because we want people to pre-order, but then like sometimes they reveal a little too much, and people are like, "We're just getting started with the story, and now we know the end." So trust me, we also feel the same way as the creators.
Mm-hmm.
What I can say is it's kind of a new status quo for the Green Lantern Corps, but not just them, but for everyone, like all the different corps. Um, we're dealing with a lot of loose threads that Jeremy has been building for the past couple of years in the main Green Lantern book,
Yeah.
with just like the United Planets Lanterns taking over, and then with what we're dealing with now with all the Starbreakers and the Sorrow and all of that, it's going to create a new status quo. Which all I can really say is that all of the lantern batteries from all the different corps are going to be on Oa, which I'm pretty sure has not happened before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying pretty sure just to save myself, just in case someone
I think
picks
you're
up
right.
like Green Lantern Corps 352 from 1987 or something. Um, yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun to explore with everyone on the same planet. And you know, there's some factions that mess with each other, but there's some that don't. And what's
Mm-hmm.
that going to look like? Especially when everyone's just trying to coexist and try to do things a little bit differently than they've been done before. It's going to be a lot of fun. Uh, I know in the solicitation they haven't shown it yet, but they at least say what the three different variant covers are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've shown one that's not completely done. It's just got the inks, and then they've
Yeah.
shown one full one. And then one is called the Map of Oa variant. Um, I got them to make a map of Oa, which I also don't know if we've seen before. So I got to like make up different names for territories and stuff like that. And
That's
you'll
cool.
get to see where all the different corps are going to be kind of like calling home base for the foreseeable future. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have been obsessed. That's the one thing I've loved about the core was the rainbow rodeo from like the Blackest Night. I think that's when they came, like when they started doing the spectrum.
Yeah.
Really excited about where that goes because I think it's interesting to explore all the spectrums of emotion.
Yeah.
I do have to ask about will the Gold Lantern be a part of this at all?
Not as of now, no.
Thank you. I just had to ask. How much you have to pay attention, like managing like what happens at other books and like crossing into what's going on with yours, like Sinister Sons and like stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, general knowledge obviously helps. But the good thing is like that's one of the editors' like big jobs is to help keep us in check. So if there ever is anything that's out of continuity or like, you know, because so many things happen so many times in comics, like you may have just forgotten that something happened 20 years ago. So usually I check, like there's something in 10 to kind of allude back to the solicitation. I bring up legendary faces are going to be showing up. Like there's a couple things I had to double check on that I had permission to do before I did it, on some of those characters. But sometimes you'll write something in a script like, what issue's out now? 7? So in issue four, when we made it Kelly's birthday,
Mm-hmm.
uh, we were just gonna make her 13 because like there's a joke at the beginning, like your name is Teen Lantern and you're just now 13. Like that's insane. But they were like, she can't be 13, and we were like, why? Like why not? But I guess if you look at the continuity, like she hasn't really been around. So like, she's been around what 6 years in our time, but in comics that's probably like 8 months or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's so weird.
So,
Yeah.
and I guess she was teen when she first got the gauntlet. So like, oh yeah, she wouldn't be 13. That's crazy. So they were like, we'll have her be 12. Like that's close enough to age her up, but also like that joke is also funny. Your name is Teen Lantern and you're 12. So stuff like that, like they'll kind of like step in and give a note for and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I actually was gonna ask about, do you have to adjust anything now that like you're gonna have more lanterns in live action? We have Guy in the Superman movie. Do you have to adjust anything to your writing? I know some things have to line up. Like when Black Adam was coming out, there was a whole lot of Black Adam in the comics for some reason, and he disappeared.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of like adjustments you have to do? Obviously, Aaron Pierre is coming, and we have what's his face as Hal Jordan. I'm Kyle Chan.
Yeah.
Do you have to adjust the writing at all to like match what's going on in the main or
There's
live action?
there's like no mandate, I'd say, but it's kind of a smart thing to do. I think at least to have some of these characters be somewhat prominent. So if and when there's people after they watch the movie or show that want to like go read more on these characters, it's good to have something that's current that they can go to. But I wouldn't say there's, at least on this book, there's not a specific like mandate. Yeah. And maybe it's just because like John is a main character, so we just like lucked out in that way.
Yeah.
So maybe they would have told us if he wasn't, but yeah, nothing so far.
So are we going to see Guy with a bowl cut again? The people for the bowl cut.
Yeah, no, that would be fun to mess around with. Yeah, it's kind of messed up that like now it's in the movies and the shows, and it translated pretty well. I was a little worried actually when they first showed the picture. I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work, and it did. I got to give it to him. So yeah, maybe I'll play down the road and he's getting a barbershop or a lineup at the Green Lantern barbershop, and someone gives him a bowl cut. That would be funny.
Do need to see an Oa barbershop now, actually.
Mhm. So do I. I just pulled that out of my ass, but actually that would be really fun.
Are you excited about the Lantern show? Just to like veer off into it.
I'm very excited. Yeah. I'm fortunate enough to know a little bit that I can't share. Uh, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think Aaron Pierre is great casting. I think he's also like on a trajectory right now, and I think that's gonna shoot him into the stratosphere, pun intended. Um, it's gonna be really fun. I'm excited to see. I don't know how any of it is gonna look, like how they're gonna render the uniforms and the constructs and stuff. But I think at least from what I've seen, this is the first DC Studio shows that has an actual writer's room. Like, so I'm excited to see just the very perspectives how that works out on something on a DC property. It's going to be interesting.
For sure. Is that somewhere you want to be, in the Lantern's writing room at some point?
That would be absolutely incredible. Yeah. No, I have a TV writing master's that I got last year, and I haven't really been able to make any inroads in TV because things haven't really recovered, honestly, since COVID. But then the strikes hit too. So for new writers, those avenues that existed before aren't really there anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a goal for sure of mine. I mean, Tom King's in the writers' room. I'm not going to say I'm at Tom King level, but like at least there's precedent that a comic book writer is in a writer's room at a DC studio show. So I don't know. Give me a couple of years, I'll figure it out.
I'll be watching. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think, before I move on to your other, because I have like a couple other things, like I want to talk to you about your other projects, but I think what do you think about the fact that we've had Green Lantern, we've been Green Lantern Hell in live action for years, and it's Guy Gardner of all of them who has brought them back, made lanterns like cooler again, or at least something more enjoyable. Like, I feel like Guy would be so happy about that in like
Absolutely. Yeah. To everyone else's like chagrin. Yeah. I think what, at least when it came to adapting that first movie, like Hal is he's kind of an everyman, right? And I think that's why he's so popular. But I think we're in an era of not just like comic book adaptations, but just TV and film in general, where we're looking at more specific than broad. And Guy Gardner is as specific as you can get for the type of guy that he is, and I think people respect that.
Love
Yeah.
that. Do you miss Cyborg? Do you want to go back to the Titans? Because I do. I want you back.
Every single day of my life, I miss Cyborg. I mean, that was such a dream job, and to have that for my first book, like, I'm like, how did that happen? But yeah, the goal is, I mean, eventually, hopefully, as I grow as a writer and can and have a little bit more sway with the type of stuff that I do, I would love to go back and revisit that character. Because in my mind, I've got like a Scott Snyder level like run for Cyborg. Like I can go 50, 60 issues deep. It's just like I have to be given the opportunity. And I think what's unfortunate for characters that aren't those big tempo characters, um, it's harder to do longer runs. So at the end of the day, like I'm happy I'm happy I went in knowing I was going to get 6 issues because it meant I can tell a complete story and I wasn't going to get canceled before I finished it. You know. Yeah, sometime down the road, like I've told Marquise, my editor on that book, like I want to do more. He knows I want to do more. Um, there's a lot more story to tell with him because I think the goal for me in that book was to kind of get him past the issues he's had for the past 40 years, like oh, I'm so mad at my dad. I don't know if I'm a man or a machine. Like I think I did that, and now it's like what comes after, right? And whether that's in another Cyborg book or like a Titans book or something else that'll feature him prominently, like, yeah, I got to get back there because he's still my favorite character.
Nice. Love that. Speaking other universes you want to go back to, are you going to be working with IDW back into the Star Trek Sons of the Trek universe? Star Trek
I'd love to. Yeah, me and Heather Antos, my editor, still keep in contact. Nothing down the road as of now, but she knows I would like to. Um, yeah, that's all I can really say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You said that like book taught you kind of how to like shift focus between characters for Green Lantern Corps. Is there any other lessons you picked up from that for your future or different writing?
That book was a monster to do. Like it was a hard book, but in a good way because I think I grew as a writer doing it, and also working under Heather being like one of the best editors in the business. For kind of like it was technically my second book, but I was working on it at the same time I was writing Cyborg. It just came out a year later, so like she took a chance on me. I didn't have any credits to my name, and I'm doing this book that's really difficult. But like I said, I think it pushed me to be better. Aside from just juggling 4 different perspectives, like I told a really like complicated story in 4 issues, which was also really hard. I also had to really be like the big thing with Star Trek, and this exists for Green Lantern Corps too. But like, there's a lot of what's the word? The fake science word. I can't think of it right now.
Fake science word?
Yeah, there's like a word for like technobabble.
Technobabble.
There's a lot of technobabble in Star Trek, but at the same time, even though it doesn't exist, you have to make it logically make sense. So like I remember in one issue, I have like the warp core has like blown up and they have to fix it. And I remember when I pitched it, I was like, this is going to be a great issue. And then when I sat down to write it, I was like, wait, that means I have to know how to fix the warp core, like a thing that doesn't exist, and like that was absolutely insane. But like, I'm also an absolutely insane person, so I have a Star Trek encyclopedia from like 1998. It's just like a thesaurus of every phrase that's ever been uttered with a definition. So like, it took me like a day and a half, like pouring over that book, but I found a way to like logically fix the warp core that makes sense. So stuff like that, like also helped me grow as a writer, I think too, just like how to entrench yourself into the universe so you feel like you're of it. So then like when you're writing these characters, it just feels like you're writing what you would do. You know what I mean? I completely forgot what your question was. I don't know if I answered it.
That's exactly what you did. Okay. I'm very impressed. You have an encyclopedia. That is some top tier level nerd shit. I love that. Squawkman, what is going on with that? What are any updates on it? Talk to me a little bit about it. Is there going to be a Squawkman
Yeah,
universe?
that
Squawkverse.
would be that would be cool. I feel like that's very down the line. But yeah, Squawkman. So going back to, I was in grad school for a couple years. I graduated last year. I got my degree in TV writing and producing. So we had to write and produce a thesis film. Um, what they said it should have been something called a pilot presentation, which was like the teaser and maybe the first act of something that you wrote while you were in school.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I wrote some stuff that was like unproducible from like a money standpoint. Like, so I'm like, I can't make any of this. I don't have the budget for this. Like, this is insane. So I just wrote something that was like a succinct short film that kind of, I think, encapsulated my voice and who I am as a writer. So I'd say it's the emotional truth of my life. I have hemophilia, which is a bleeding disorder. And the best way that I like to describe that is if you know Wolverine, right, from Marvel, he heals from everything instantaneously, right? Hemophilia makes me. I have the ability to heal from nothing, none of the time, on my own, like without the assistance of medication. So I'm kind of also like Dr. Glass, I guess, from M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so because of that, I had a very sheltered existence up until as an adult when I moved out. I couldn't really go out and do the things that I wanted to do with my friends and stuff because my mom was always afraid I was going to get hurt, and to a worse extent, like walk out of the house and die, so Squawkman was kind of an exploration of what it felt like to grow up with hemophilia. Like it's very heightened and surreal, kind of like in Atlanta or I'm a Virgo. But it follows a young man who is a man. He is an adult, but basically he still lives at home, and he can't be at home unsupervised because his mom is afraid that anything's going to happen to him, uh, and the worst thing is going to happen to him. So he basically is emotionally stunted, and he kind of assumes the identity of his favorite superhero to kind of cope with the circumstances that he has. And the story revolves around his mom gets called into work because she's his sole provider, and she has to hire a babysitter. So the babysitter is kind of the point of view character who's coming to babysit a grown ass man who is pretending to be a superhero. But by the end of it, they kind of learn from each other. She learns a little bit more about innocence from him, and he learns a little bit more about what it is to come into her own and be an adult from her. And yeah, I've since did a backwards thing where like I've now made a pilot for it because
Nice.
before it was just kind of a standalone film.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it can be a sample I can use to like I don't know get a manager or an agent and to get me in a writer's room at some point. And then yeah, like way down the line, like yeah, I would love to do it as like a TV show or something like that.
Nice. That's dope. I love that. Um, I'm gonna ask one more question. I think to like wrap up because I feel like a ton of questions, but actually I
No,
feel like
no, take your time. I'm chilling.
um if you were okay, so you're wanting to make that's you're writing a pilot. Is there anything that you like any other project you want to do? Like you want to do a full length movie? Do you want to do films or do you prefer TV shows? Do you want to do more comics? Like what is the like preferred writing for you? Because you seem to be doing
Yeah,
a lot like everything,
yeah,
which is
I'm stingy that way, I guess. I think a lot of writers what they tell you early on is like diversify as much as you can. Um, so I guess that's the goal. I want to do it all, honestly, and I want to be someone who's noted doing good work in every medium. Like, so Rodney Barnes is, I think, someone who's kind of like a north star for me. Like, he used to write on the Boondocks. He did Winning Time a couple years ago, and he's also a prolific comic book writer with Philadelphia and all those Star Wars adaptations he does at Marvel. Yeah, like he's doing it all. So I think that's kind of my ultimate goal. Is like, yeah, I would love to write a movie. I'd love to be in a writer's room on multiple TV shows in my career, and write comics as long as they'll have me. So yeah.
yeah, it's dope. Cool. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.